Hi, Andrea.
Hello, Emil.
I hope that Jalander will join. It sounded like he should join. Here's Eric.
Hello, sorry for being late.
Hello, Eric. Welcome. So, do you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's perfect.
My Zoom was half crashing, but it seems to be back to live now.
Okay. Okay, so I was saying before you came, Eric, that we are waiting for Jalander. He should join as he has volunteered to perform a demo of the Spinnaker integration.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can get started without him and see when he arrives. Anyway, so welcome. First actions from last meeting, I didn't note any really. So there is nothing to follow up there as far as I can see. And here's Oleg. Hi, Oleg. Welcome.
Yeah, hi, sorry for being late.
No problem. So first thing to look into the agenda is the planning for 001. That's a recurring thing that we will have now, I guess, in all our city events and SIG events meetings until done, more or less. So from SIG events perspective, we will discuss more about the administrative tasks, not specific vocabulary tasks, unless we have time in the end. Of course, we can bring in such as well. That's no problem at all. And the sub-bullets I've added here is on the release announcement and the project governance, and none of those are yet started as far as I can see. I volunteered to take on the governance part, but I will not be able to do that now before my vacation, which starts end of this week. So I will do that when I'm back after vacations in early August. And then the release announcement is also something that I guess will happen closer to the release itself.
Yeah.
We discussed on a previous meeting that we should have an intro video on cdevents.dev. Do we all think that's good to have as part of the 0.1 milestone? And if so, could we assign it to someone already now to work on quite soon?
I think it would be nice, though I would actually add a few more items to the scope. I'm not sure whether you have seen the recent recording of the CDF outreach committee.
No,
But yeah, well, we discussed how we actually leverage the community, the ambassador program, and one of the points there was actually doing more outreach for CD events and more promotion using the powers of ambassadors. And that means it would definitely require some template slide decks or overview slide decks so that they could reuse in their talks. Maybe some Schwag logistics for that. Yeah, Laurie, the new CDF outreach chair, is happy to collaborate on this topic, and I think we should leverage this opportunity.
Yeah, sounds good. So do you think we should make it part of the release announcement issue we have, or should we make separate issues for that?
I would rather create separate issues.
Yeah. If you have it fresh, would you mind creating such issue or issues?
Yeah, I can take
or
this action item.
Point me to some information where I can see more what exactly would be needed or wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. We should make sure to publish, of course, the information about our release in all channels appropriate. And
yeah, so if you could get the ambassadors to participate in this topic, I think it would be great from both CDF point of view and the CDA events point of view.
Should we, I haven't been part of any such meetings, I'm afraid, at least not recently. Should we from CD events be more active on those meetings then as well, maybe?
So basically what we were discussing is actually making the CDF outreach committee more open, because now it's just a group of premier member companies, company representatives without project representatives. And this was actually one of the topic we discussed seriously, and with Fatih being the executive director and strongly supporting transparency in the foundation, I think it's rather a done deal. So if anyone wants to start participating, you're more than welcome. But yeah, at the same time, I believe that we will basically removing most of the obstacles so that anyone could jump on this committee and participate if they want to contribute.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, actually, yeah, this topic was discussed heavily. I can share meeting notes with you later. And I believe that next presentation to the governing board by Laurie will also include that. And maybe I will do some summary at the TOC meeting tomorrow. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Thanks. I'm looking for all information in that area. Okay.
Well, it's all fresh news. We just had meeting last week. Everything is yet to happen, but the good news is that now there is definitely interest to make it happen.
Is there some minutes of meeting from that meeting that we should attach here then?
Yes, but I am waiting for this meeting minutes to also be made public.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so outreach committee was totally closed entity until that. I mean, I had no idea who's a member of this outreach committee. So now I do have some idea, but yeah, definitely there is a lot of other changes to be done. And yeah, I'll probably just add summary from the meeting to tomorrow's TOC meeting, and maybe invite Laurie to join just to do introductions.
So I've actually you to provide a link to that information when it's available. Oops. Oh, why is that? How is that possible? I didn't take this in. Okay, good. I didn't intend to talk much more about the actual planning for the 0.1 now. Do any of you think we should mention anything on generic terms before we go on in the meeting, and we can come back to this, of course, for more CDVN specific tasks later on?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure whether it's related to 1.0, but definitely related to community logistics. So last year, the TOC appointed 10 key for CD events ecosystem, which haven't been used and which could be potentially used, for example, this autumn as a part of LFX mentorship programs or whatever sponsored development. So again, yeah, it could be appointed. I can do all the logistics, but I wonder whether we have any ideas on the CD events side, what could be done. Because there are two ways doing basically internship program, or let's say hiring a contractor developer to do something.
Yeah, I think we talked some about having a technical writer or something like that connected to our project and helping us review and update the documentation and such things, which would make a more professional look and feel to the information we provide. Do you think that could be something that we would use that money for?
It could be.
I'm not sure if there are any such people in the CDF, but there might be in related parts, sister organizations in Linux Foundation or somewhere. Is anyone aware of any such resources?
It depends. So basically there could be two approaches. One is technical content. So somebody who deep dives into the technical part, finds the gaps, tries out the prototypes on their own and creates documentation. And another one is just copy editing and basically designing the documentation for the future. Which part would you rather see in the current state of the documentation? Copy editor making the documentation to look professional is rather easier part, because there is a lot of freelancers looking for that. But yeah, if you rather look for technically more advanced user, or maybe somebody with developer background, then it's more complicated.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Well, I guess we could benefit from both. I'm not sure then though that it's the best worth for the money, but instead of just letting the money go, we could of course do that. Do we have any other opinions in the group here? What we could use the money for?
I mean, there are small approaches that we could do if you be someone to mentor. There are things that we discussed at the community summit. Well, one thing is like a GitHub to CD events adapter. I believe that's something that Ishan is already working on, but we could do something similar for GitLab, for instance, or other type of events. So we kind of build a catalog of those. Another thing that another project that would be nice to have as some visualization front end, or when we collect cloud events to kind of help us visualize them. So this is someone with some JavaScript skills, Node.js libraries could build something like that. That's another thing that we could do. Yeah, another area which is, but maybe that's not a good fit for internship though. I mean, that's the what is called the application lifecycle events. Captain offered to integrate with CD events. There is some discussion and work to be done to make that thread happening. But yeah, maybe that's something that we should discuss ourselves rather than outsource.
I'm up for that, though I have a potential conflict of interest. But yeah, I'm definitely ready to discuss this topic.
But do you think it falls under the budget topic, Andrea, or?
So the budget is allocated for any advancement of CD events ecosystem. So basically, as long as it helps all the projects and not, let's say, just Tecton or Jenkins, this money can be used. There is no additional boundaries set as we discussed. So it's up to CD events governing team to agree how this money would be allocated. I mean, yeah, technically it could be just converted to stickers, but yeah, I would argue that it's not the best use of money either.
No.
I mean, other things that we could get help on is the SDKs, of course, and maybe we discuss about automation and setting up some of the SDKs or automation for the specification based on schemas. So, I mean, there are this kind of small projects, I think.
Yeah, I'm just a bit concerned how we could set up such things. Maybe it's related to visualization as well. I guess we would need to spend some time, of course, in our group, even though we might get in some resource externally. It wouldn't be for free when it comes to our own time as well. And I think anything that would delay the release of 0.1 is a bit problematic. So I would hope that we can find things which doesn't cost too much for ourselves when it comes to time. But of course, well.
And this is why I wanted to highlight that it's not necessary to just have, let's say, internship with someone not experienced. Technically, it's possible. Well, even modern JSOC or Google Season of Docs, they allow for professionals who want to start working in open source. And through LFX mentorship, you can also have a more or less experienced person working on that. So yeah, and actually, I would rather advise that because as you said, otherwise it would require significant time resources from the core team, which is not big.
Yeah, not at all.
So I can definitely help with logistics, with getting all this money, LFX mentorship setup, and other things. Yeah, well, I could probably help with mentoring too in autumn, but definitely not this summer.
Yeah.
So Andrea, I think I missed your first suggestion, by the way, before you talked about visualization. You said something else, right? Which I forgot to note.
Yeah, basically it's adapters for from established platforms to CD events. I mean, the one that we discussed that was like GitHub to city events. I believe Ishan and Mauricio are already looking into something like that. But we could have that for other common platforms. To start.
Yeah, right.
Reaching our portfolio there.
Yeah, well, this is also possible, though it needs some discussion, because in this case, the project wouldn't be vendor neutral. I don't think it's a showstopper if we agree that it's good for the ecosystem, but we need to be careful about that, because we do, let's say, GitHub integrations project, and we have GitLab as a premier member, or not premier, but of the CDF. So it immediately raises question whether we actually invested the money correctly, which is again not a blocker, but really needs some justification and careful planning, and probably opening an opportunity, so making a call for, let's say, all the adapters for top SCM systems, and then if there is application just for GitHub, okay, we can go with GitHub.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oleg. Yeah.
So I don't get a clear view on what we could use the money on, and I've thought about this before. So what we could do to make the most bang for the buck without needing to contribute too much ourselves in this small group.
I think
guess
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I think it will be difficult to get something if we don't contribute at least a little bit from our group. I mean, I can. I should be able to spend some time like this summer. If there is anyone to require some mentoring, or also in autumn, depending on the time where we can make things happen. But yeah, I apart from these kind of things, it might be, I don't have any further idea. I mean, yes, we could do SWOT, but I'm not sure that would be very good use of money as well. Or I don't know if there is if there are conferences where we can have, like, if we want to have a day zero event or a posted event, and maybe an open source summit or some other conference, if that we could invest the money.
So you basically think about travel grants or investment in representation? Because travel grants is definitely possible. So let's say taking a contributor, let's say, so we had a scholarship for one of the students to present at KubeCon. So if we do something like that, it's possible for this money. It's one of the options.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I was thinking more in terms of, I mean, the actual money it takes to organize the event or to be hosted by a larger conference. It's the advantage of being at a conference, I guess, like Open Source Summit or KubeCon, is that you have there are a lot of people already there. So if you organize the event there, you can get good audience. But yeah,
it's a valid point. Yeah, right now we basically get this money from the CDF, and thanks to them. I mean, well, indirectly for CDCon day, for KubeCon day. But
exactly.
Again, the budgets is also limited, so we can invest money.
So if we should try to progress this, I think one easier task would more or less be to see if we can get if we can find some technical writer or what you said, Oleg, some editor to look into the documentation we have. That could be just more or less go ahead if we find such a resource. But then, of course, for example, the visualization front end, that would for sure be vendor neutral, I think. That might require an event storage, maybe, solution as well, connected to it, if it should be done in a good way. So it might require some more discussion on how that should be set up. Or we could give free hands to some internship person or group. What would you think would be the next step, so we don't get stuck with this and ask ourselves the same question again in 2 months?
So I think the best step right now would be to just figure out the topics we would like. So if you want, I can do some bits about the documentation, maybe some public calls, etc., for anyone who would be interested. Because if you have a potential candidate, then the discussion is quite easy. If not, it's more challenging. So I'm doing the same for Captain in the coming months, so I can do CD events as well.
Yeah, I think that would be beneficial, actually. It would be beneficial and more give a more professional look into everything we write. So, Andrea, would you think it's possible to set up a visualization with some resources without too much effort needed from us?
I think so. I mean, at least it doesn't have to be like very sophisticated, but if we set up an initial framework, then we can, iterate on it. I think it would be, it would be beneficial for our POCs when like doing demos.
Yeah.
So that's mainly it doesn't have to be like if we use some kind of event backend, it doesn't have to be like the one that we recommend as part of city events. It can just be something that we use for the purpose of POCs, a lightweight solution that we can easily set up.
Yeah, sounds good. So, Oleg, are you fine to take this further then?
So I can take the documentation part. So if somebody could take and I will do the budgeting and logistics. So basically we have a platform for these or basically any other program in the future, or just sticker expenses. But yeah, if somebody could take a look at the visualization part, it would be nice, because while I understand the purpose of that, it would be nice to parallelize it.
To me, the visualization part sounds at least like something that is quite easy to set the borders around. The other, when it comes to automation of SDKs and the adapters might not be as easy to, well, the first one, the adapters is of course vendor neutral problems maybe, and the SDK automation might be a bit fluffy, maybe as well. Well, what do you think, Andrea? I mean, as I said before, I will not be working much more now before my vacation, so I might not anyway be the one who's mostly involved in this in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I can set it up for the visualization.
If you think that's a good thing, good candidate for this, yeah, it's really good. So could I write your name there then, Andrea, too?
So should I collect information in a GitHub issue, Oleg, or what would be the best format, I think?
Issue would be fine. So are you taking the vacation in 2 weeks, Andrea?
No, I don't have any coming vacation. I mean, I have some days. I will be in August. I will be traveling. I will be working from Italy, so I have like 1 day off to travel there. But I will be working then from there, so I don't have any.
Okay, so we can just target syncing up at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I think we should go on in the agenda. Good discussion, and thanks for bringing it up, Oleg. Perfect. So we have Jalander with us, and I think we should take the opportunity now to let Jalander present or demo the Spinnaker integration that he's been working on, which is currently under review. So Jalander, if you'd like to take the sharing.
Yeah, sure, Emil. Hello. Hello.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the PR that is there, like we need to integrate Spinnaker with SIG events POC. So that POC is existing POC, I think that is developed initial time. This is the current POC is there. So what I'm doing is like right now I'm integrating Spinnaker to the existing POC here. The existing POC looks like this. So just to have an introduction or just a quick check. Yeah, so this has a Tecton pipeline. It builds and it triggers an artifact package and event to Captain, and Captain approves the artifact, and then back it sends artifact published event, and that event is received by again Tecton, and Tecton will do a deploy job, and then finally it says the service deployed event. So this flow is the existing one, so that is there right now in the SIG events repo. What I'm doing is like I'm trying to add a Spinnaker into this flow. Yeah, so my image looks like this, slight difference. So if you see the corner part, the right top corner is what is added. It's just a Spinnaker and the CD event controller. The CD events controller is the one is responsible to consume the event and produce the events. And to produce the event, so we have actually created a cloud event, a Java SDK. So this is Java SDK based on cloud events. So this will emits the cloud events, what Spinnaker needs to do. So yeah, right now, so the flow works this way. So it fits in the existing flow. So if you I just want to explain in this flow how it works. This part of thing is like all is with the existing POC. So the last Spinnaker one is added here. Like if you see a very corner right side. So the Spinnaker is added here. So this is the additional part. So what it does is like everything is similar until artifact is published. So if you could see my cursor here. So yeah, the flow works here, right? So you know that like Tecton runs the build pipeline and it sends an event artifact packaged to Captain, and Captain approves that artifact, right? So, and then once the artifact is approved by Captain, and Captain sends so Captain sends artifact published event. So this time, now I am also sending it to Spinnaker. So the artifact published events, earlier it is sending into Tecton triggers. So now on like Spinnaker also registered to listen to this particular artifact, which is sent by Captain in outbound. So artifact published event is also received by Spinnaker for the same image and same trigger ID and context what is created by Tecton. And what Spinnaker does is Spinnaker receives this event and it runs a deploy pipeline within Spinnaker. Yeah, and the middle part, you see, this is the existing one. So the Tecton does the job of taking the artifact published, deployment starts and then sends the service deployed event. And the same way, so Spinnaker also receives that artifact published event and runs the deploy pipeline, and it sends the send back to the notification that Captain inbound to CD service deployed. And the same service deployed event is listened by Captain inbound again, the same way like when Tecton sends. And this is what like Captain inbound again, it says the deployment is finished, mock as deployment finished for both the Tecton and Spinnaker as well. So this is the flow that I wanted to show in demo as well. So if any questions before going to demo.
Just a quick question. If I got it right, are there two deployments happening, or is it just Spinnaker doing the deployment in this scenario?
Other deployments, you mean, Andrea?
Are there two deployments? So is Tecton doing the deployment and Spinnaker doing the deployment as well, or is it just Spinnaker doing the deployment?
Yes, both does the deployment. So Tecton is like the existing way how it is doing the same deployment is there, and Spinnaker also does the deployment in the different environment. I mean, it's in the same Kubernetes cluster, but it's a different pod it is.
Yeah, so actually it brings up a good question how we are going to grow this POC when we add more tools. Because doing one deployment always for each tool we want to demonstrate can be quite resource consuming. So maybe we should start adding some enablers, for example, in Helm charts later. So it's definitely not for this demo. I'm excited to see this integration, but yeah, later for scalability, yeah, it would be really nice to see how we can actually minimize the footprint for a particular demo.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and thanks again for working on that.
Yeah, so I'll just go to the demo. So the changes what I've done before going to demo, maybe quickly I'll go through the changes. So I have created a script to configure and install Spinnaker. So this does these bunch of things. So it will just do a installation of Spinnaker and running into HAL, and then it creates a trigger to subscribe to Spinnaker event API. That is the artifact published event, and it's create an application and pipeline also, which I need to run from the service deployed event. So it does all within the script, and there is another script. It invokes it to create the whole pod, and inside that it is just install the Helm CLI and configuring the things that is required for Spinnaker to install. And I have some templates to use deploy Spinnaker, the pipeline, and this is where the Spinnaker eco, where we have the consume and produce endpoints created. So the actual thing will be not having the changes with the CD events. So this will replace the changes that is going with the CD events REST endpoints to consume and produce. Yeah, this is where I create a Spinnaker service account to interact with Kubernetes with Spinnaker is what is the change. Okay, so I'll have a quick demo, and so probably we can go through the changes and maybe online if time permits. Otherwise, offline we can have some reviews. Yeah, so this is the scripts are integrated to the existing POC.sh script. So this script we have. Currently I'm running on the same branch, I think. So yeah, it's the Spinnaker POC. Yeah, so this is the same script, and I have modified this one to include install and configure Spinnaker.sh. So this runs only with the option when we have a run with Spinnaker. So this is the comment I think I got from Andrea. This is addressed. So this one works like this. So if you just do help, it has several options, including optional options, but we have -s also here. This will run with Spinnaker. The POC will run with the Spinnaker. So when you have POC.sh-s, so this will install the Spinnaker and all other stuff as usual. So I have already installed Spinnaker here. Yeah, so the Spinnaker pods are running. So this is the pod where the CD events rest point and endpoints are there. So this is the replaced one from the script, and all other things are we are not using, but yeah, it's used internally, the gate and orca and all of this stuff. Yeah, so just I'll quickly run the Tecton pipeline. So because that's when the main flow starts. Yeah, so I'm under the POC. I'll just run this. It takes the same inputs, no change here actually. So only the change, like explained, it's in when it comes to the CD artifact published event. So yeah, I'll just have this to do some. Yeah, if I go to browser, so I have done this port forwarding just to access from my local. So I have, sorry. So, yeah, so this is where I have my Spinnaker is running on 8000 port number. I think this is the Tecton is running. Yeah, and sorry for this. Yeah, so Tecton is here and the captain is running here. And I have the Spinnaker. So the script will actually create the CD events POC. So this is the application inside Spinnaker, and inside application, it will also create a deploy pipeline. So that pipeline will have basically the configuration to get the CD events POC from the kind cluster and deploy it into the this default namespace in the same Kubernetes cluster. So running on port 80. So it's just a simple deployment. The same POC image will be deployed here. Yeah, so going back to this. So this is what is the image is built. Yeah, if you go to Captain in the sequence, yeah, we have one sequence waiting here for approval. I think this is the same way that is previously working. So the same BB1, yeah, it's once you approve this, so you will see one pipeline. This pipeline will be running here, and as well as Tecton also will have the pipelines running. And find, yeah, I'll just approve this for the time being. Yeah, now you can see the, yeah, so the POC deploy Spinnaker is started here. And the Tecton also will have pipelines running. So this is existing. So the same way Spinnaker also runs. Yeah, so the jobs are running. And this is the only one job here. Yeah, that gets deployed. I think this is success. Yeah, so this is successful. So these things are deployed here. We can just see clear get ports. Oh, but this was yeah, it's replaced. This is the one is deployed here. So we can I can just do port forward to see whether the deployment is success or not. yeah, the captain have the deployment jobs are successful. Yeah, so I have done some changes in the captain code base also. So that is the CDF, the captain inbound code base. So that will take some Spinnaker things and context and make the captain context passed based on the service deployed event. So this goes with this.
Do you need this just as a configuration change or as a code change?
Yeah, it's a code change inside. Yeah.
Did you have a chance to submit at least a draft pull request?
Yeah, sure. I'll submit it. So I have a PR actually in Spinnaker, and as also is in yeah, this is in Captain. Also, there are some changes. So I'll submit for review.
Yeah, much appreciated. So why I'm bringing it up right now, we are scheduling basically CD events 0.1 specification adoption in Captain. And yeah, having all this information would be useful for us to understand what's missing.
Okay. Sure.
And yeah, it could be also helpful for the spec.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, sure. So I have yeah, the existing POC is running on this port. I'll just do a port forward here. Maybe I'll close this. Yeah, and so the Spinnaker POC is running on default. That's the service. So I can just have to forward it. So I can see that it is again redirected to this guy. So I will just access this whether it is running or not. Yeah, so this 8074 is what is deployed by Tecton. Yeah, so this is up, and I have another application also that is 8086. So this is deployed by Spinnaker. Just open and see. Yeah, so both the deployments are success. Now we can see that access the applications. Yep.
Nice. Thanks, John. There.
Nice presentation and looking forward to the video. So I've already shared it with the Captain team. And if you're interested to present it again, maybe at one of the developer meetings in the coming weeks, it would be great.
Yep.
Sure. So I will reach out separately.
Okay.
Nice. I have a couple of questions. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay. So is there a way you can tell Captain then it expects completion from both systems, or how is that? Did you do something in the shipyard configuration so that Captain knows it expects this sequence to be completed twice because you're getting the events back from both, right?
Yes, I am using the same service deployed in the Captain side. So the context that I'm updating twice, I mean like once for Tecton and once for Spinnaker. So if you see here, I think there are, I don't know, but for Tecton, so there are like multiple deploys runs. I don't know, it's a miss from my side, or I'm not sure if this is, oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has, Tecton has multiple pipelines, I mean, deploy jobs run. So each time it will, I mean, sends a service deployed event. And Captain receives also in the same way order, I think that much times here. And now I could see that like one more time also extra for Spinnaker is coming here from the logs and as well as from here. So it's the same event that I'm using on the Captain side. It's not the different one, maybe. If I answered correctly.
Yeah, I mean, one suggestion maybe for as a next step could be to make the the Spinnaker deployment as an alternative to the Tecton one, so that if you enable Spinnaker deployment, you disable the Tecton one. So you do the initial build with Tecton, you start the deployment sequence with Spinnaker, with Captain, and then Spinnaker is doing the deployment, because then maybe it keeps the maybe it's cleaner, you don't see all the events coming from both, but I don't know, it's just a suggestion. The other question I had was in the Spinnaker deployment that you shown. Is that static, or are you able to pick up the SHA of the image that has been built from the event?
The static is what exactly? Running the pipeline?
The deployment that is configured in Spinnaker.
Yeah.
The deployment manifest is the image.
Yeah, right now that is static. So only one specific pipeline that I'm looking for, and then trying to run that alone from Spinnaker side. Once the moment this event is received, I mean artifact published received event is received, so I'll only pick one of the deploy Spinnaker POC pipeline and run. So this is static.
Okay.
Yeah. So no one notifies like from other side to run which specific job, but yeah, Spinnaker itself, I'm like taking one static job to run whenever this event occurs. Yep.
But does Spinnaker provide some capability to customize the manifest based on information you get from the event, or?
So we can retrieve, like now in this case, the captain is sending only the image name, ID, and so the context and trigger IDs, right? So right now we don't have any information that which pipeline to run from captain side. So yeah, if captain sends something saying like I need to run this specific job or pipeline on Spinnaker, so we can take that as an input and run and look for that specific pipeline and try to run that. So we can do that in Spinnaker. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not. I was not asking really about which pipeline to run, but more like the SHA of the image, because Tecton is building the image, is producing an image SHA, and that goes into the artifact published event, and then it's picked up by Spinnaker through Captain. And Spinnaker is deploying, and if I remember correctly, you're deploying tag 1.0.
Yes.
And I was wondering if it would be possible, instead of deploying a fixed tag, to deploy the SHA of the image that has been just produced by the build pipeline. That's how it works on the Tecton branch. So you deploy exactly that SHA that has just been built.
Okay, not the image. Okay. This okay.
So yeah, in the image there, because that's static.
Okay.
And that's kind of it's not really deploying the image that's just been built, it's deploying.
Okay. This is not the latest one image that is built. Okay.
Well, it depends. I mean, if the build script recreates the 1.0 tag, but I think it would be nicer to, because in the artifact published event, you have the SHA of the image that's being produced. So my question was, is it possible to get that SHA from the event into the manifest somehow? I don't know if that's something that Spinnaker supports.
Yeah, maybe I need to check that if I have understood correctly. Yeah. So to update the manifest based on the image that we receive in the event published, right? So okay.
Yeah, that was
okay.
Yeah, but
okay, I'll check on that. So if that is possible, maybe so I should have some things to change, like update the manifest. So we have some APIs in Spinnaker. So that is possible from the Spin CLI API that I used in the script itself. So that image, even we can modify it with the, we have some APIs that exposed. I'll check on that, and then maybe I'll get back next time.
I'm not saying this should be blocking or anything for your existing PR. I'm just saying
Yep.
that's something that could be good to have as a follow-up, I think.
Yeah, understood. Yep.
So if we could clarify, if we go to the sequence diagram, Yolander, where you showed how things are integrated with both Tecton and Spinnaker.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So I guess there where CD artifact published is sent both to Spinnaker and to Tecton, right?
Yes.
It includes which one is it? Is it the SHA is not mentioned there, but the SHA is part of that event as well then somewhere.
Yeah, I saw in the logs even that SHA exists. I think it's with the image, I guess. Yeah, I think it
could actually
exists.
be good to add the SHA to this picture so it's visible that that's where it comes from Captain. And then if it can be used, if it can be also be visualized in the which is it, run deploy pipeline for both Spinnaker and Tecton, then to say that we run deploy pipeline on a specific SHA that comes, so we can see that it's the same SHA that is mentioned in two places then.
Okay. Yeah.
If that's possible. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'll try to check that once. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I think it is possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I see we ran out of time almost. So, but thank you again, Yolander, for this demo. It was great seeing that you've made this work. And I urge everyone who's interested in or is able to review the pull request. We can get it through. Okay, so if I take back to sharing quickly, and we can just finish off some parts. Sorry. There we go. Now I think I'm sharing again. Presentation is done. We have an upcoming presentation from Fidelity. I was hoping it could be on August 8th, or sorry, July 18th, but it seems now that the people involved in that presentation will come back from vacations actually on July 18th, so they might not be able to perform that presentation then. Then we have two bullets about conferences. There was a conference, was it last 2 weeks ago, the Open Source Summit in North America. Was anyone attending that one and has any input to provide? No. Then we have some upcoming conferences, and there is no news as far as I know. The Spinnaker Summit is still not really published, I believe. So it's not really possible to see any more about what it will be like. I think Fatih said on the last meeting that it's soon to be launched or provided, but still not. And we don't know either if there will be any co-located events with KubeCon North America this fall. I also added a bullet about the definition of terms where SIG interoperability have been done some work with the vocabulary. There's an issue if you're interested to be part of the discussion there to see how we should integrate or make use of the terms defined in SIG interop in CD events. We will most probably not do any major updates, at least for the 0.1 release, but I think we should do it for the coming releases after that. So we make use of what is done in SIG interoperability there. And there is some interaction ongoing through this ticket. Okay, any other comments from anyone before we close for today?
No, nothing apart. Thanks again, Yolander, for the great work on this. And for doing the demo today.
Next week there is a vocabulary meeting. And how is it, Andrea? Will it be a Asia Pacific meeting already this week, or?
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
We're a bit of time. I was thinking, I mean, the current winner option is Wednesday. So I was planning on setting it up for this Wednesday.
Yep. Yeah, please do them. And I guess you will publish it, announce it on the CD events channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So we might see each other there then. Okay. Again, thanks for today, and talk to you next time. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.